You're listening to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a conversation about the mundane, the ordinary. One thing we can promise is that our conversation will be less than interesting so that you can drift off and hopefully catch some shut-eye. Thank you for joining us. We hope you will listen and sleep. I'm your host, Marco Timpano.
And I'm your co-host, Nidhi Khanna. Marco, I wanted to talk about Ann Arbor, Michigan today.
Because we have a lot of listeners from Ann Arbor,
Absolutely.
Michigan. We want to send a special shout out to them and thank our listeners for subscribing. Before we get into Ann Arbor talks, I wanted to let our listeners know that both you and I are wearing blue topaz.
Yes, and so last time on our podcast, we had a fascinating conversation about crystals, and we went into depth about some of the crystals that we both gravitate towards.
And the fun fact that blue topaz is the crystal that deals with communication and expressing oneself, both in written and spoken form.
So we thought we would wear some blue topaz today to see if there was any difference in our communication style on today's podcast. So
you're wearing a blue topaz ring.
I am. And you have a blue topaz little necklace. And so we'd like to thank your wife, Amanda Barker, who's currently not here, but
and unaware that
we are wearing her jewelry. So thank you, Amanda. Now, to get back to Ann Arbor,
which is in Michigan,
close to Detroit, Michigan. Well, relatively close, I guess.
Is it?
I don't know. To be quite honest,
I've never
been.
It is. I think it's closer to Toledo. I've actually been to Ann Arbor. I've always heard of Ann Arbor for some reason, and when we were driving through Michigan, I said, we need to pull over to Ann Arbor because I've heard so much about it. And all I remember about Ann Arbor, Nidhi, was it's a beautiful, beautiful place. I remember it being very green. I remember the homes being really gorgeous as we drove by them. And I remember we went to, I don't know, maybe you'll be able to help me, like a main little area or square. And I just remember the shops were really great. And we had like an ice cream or something sweet, and I really enjoyed it.
It really does sort of, when you picture your American town,
Mm-hmm.
I think Ann Arbor is one of those towns that really comes to mind in terms of its picturesque quality.
Mm-hmm.
It's a university town because the University of Michigan actually is in Ann Arbor. And so you really do have that type of feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Ann Arbor was actually only founded in 1824, and it was founded by two land speculators. Or,
okay.
I believe that's what they're called when they surveyed land.
I'd love to be a land speculator.
I would too. And they founded Ann Arbor and named it based on their wives' names.
Oh,
because
Ann?
Both their wives were named Ann.
I see.
So that's where the Ann comes from. And the Arbor component comes from the stands of the bur oak tree. And Ann Arbor is very well known for its luscious treescape, really.
I see.
So that's where the name Ann Arbor comes from.
So arbor comes from the word of,
The bur oak. It's, I guess, a type of tree.
I see.
And it comes from the stands of the bur oak.
Amazing.
Right, so a little fun fact for you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Domino's Pizza head office in Ann Arbor.
Oh, well, what a lovely place to have a head office.
I know.
So many, head offices tend to be in well, I shouldn't say, but they tend to be collected in areas that are not as picturesque as Ann Arbor is, based on my experience.
Exactly. And the people of Ann Arbor, maybe you experience this,
Mm-hmm.
Marco, are incredibly lovely. And I wonder if that has anything to do with its very lax marijuana laws.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Certainly, we had a great time in Ann Arbor, but we just kind of stopped by as we were driving through. But I guess another reason to love Ann Arbor.
Absolutely. And I guess because perhaps of its lax marijuana laws, they came up with a I wouldn't call it a dessert, but a treat, a delicacy.
I love treats. I love delicacy. You need to.
That is called the fragel.
Oh, I've never heard of.
What do you think, Marco, the fragel could be?
Oh, the fragel. I would guess that the fragel would be something. Okay, because it's in Ann Arbor, Michigan, I'm going to assume that it involves maple, and I'm not saying that because I'm Canadian and I love maple sweets. I'm just saying that because Ann Arbor would have those kind of trees, maple trees. You mentioned the burl oak tree. You know, those are deciduous trees in the northern part of North America, so I'm going to assume it has maple in it. I'm going to assume it's frozen. It's some sort of frozen maple treat because of the fray part of the dessert name. That's my guess.
Well, you would be incorrect with that guess. However, I will tell you what a fragel is.
Yes.
And just like Red Deer, Alberta has their official cookie,
the caramel surprise.
I believe the fragel is sort of the official, it's not a cookie, but the official treat of Ann Arbor. And so what it is a deep fried...
Oh, this sounds great.
...raisin bagel that has been rolled in cinnamon sugar.
When you didn't think it could get any better, they rolled it in cinnamon sugar.
Absolutely. And you know how much we love cinnamon, you and I.
I have to say that if the beauty of Ann Arbor and the University of Michigan wasn't enough to bring me back to that picturesque city in the U.S., the fragel will seal the deal.
Marco, I feel like we need to do a road trip to Ann Arbor to try this fragel.
We need to let the mayor of Ann Arbor know that we need to go to Ann Arbor, record the podcast with him or her, and eat fragels as we do so.
I think that's a plan for this upcoming summer, perhaps.
Speaking of bagels, you're from Montreal.
I am.
And if there's one thing you Montrealers know how to do, it's make a bagel.
You got it, Marco. So bagels are a topic that is very close to my heart.
Really?
Yes, I am very particular about my bagel consumption.
Oh.
Montreal bagels have spoiled my ability to eat anything else. I enjoy the Montreal bagel because it's almost honey dipped.
Yeah, we should explain that the Montreal bagel...
It's a wood oven bagel.
And it's boiled in honey water prior to its baking.
You got it.
And for anyone who hasn't tried a Montreal bagel, so I don't know how easy they are to get outside of Canada. I know that here in Toronto there are some places that make the Montreal bagel. I'll let you know when I go to Vancouver this month if I find Montreal style bagels. But it's a sweeter, denser bagel, would you say, Nidhi?
It's denser but not thicker.
Right.
So whereas a New York style bagel is very thick
and voluminous.
Yes.
Voluminous.
And so it really does feel very bready in a traditional sense. The Montreal bagel is less voluminous, more it's sweeter, it's a bit it's when you toast it, it has this incredible way of being toasty on the outside, but the inside component of the bagel is still soft. And so it has this
a
delicious
chewiness to it without being gummy. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's exactly it. You described it very eloquently. So clearly the blue topaz is working for you.
I would say so. I also love the Montreal bagel. I do. It's my favorite bagel. That's not to discredit the regular bagel or the New York style bagel. I heard that there's a Detroit style bagel that we will need to investigate. Poppy seed, sesame seed, or plain.
Poppy seed all the way, without a doubt. Poppy seed with butter.
Yum.
I don't even need the cream cheese if it's a Montreal style bagel.
Right.
But I'm thinking, Marco, that if we were to go to Ann Arbor,
Yes.
we would need to bring a Montreal style raisin bagel and have them make a fragel.
Out of the so then if they take the Montreal bagel and they make it a fragel, I think they'll have to put an accent on the E, on the last E of the fragel, to make it the Montreal. Because doesn't Montreal have an accent?
Yes, Marco.
On the last
That's
E.
great.
You know, I do my best to sort of work it out so
I feel
that
like your grade 10 French came out there a bit.
Grade 9 actually,
Oh,
but
okay.
yes, it would be great. Now, when we're talking about bagels, I can tell you that I am not a fan of sesame seeds in particular. You will ruin my bagel experience if you put sesame seeds anywhere near
Wow.
my bagel, including, you know, when they do an all, like a, what do you call it when you put all things they call it an all season bagel or an all.
Oh yes, it's kind of like
They do everything.
an
to it.
everything bagel.
That's it, the everything bagel. If there's a sesame seed on that, I am not happy. I too love the poppy seed or the plain, and I don't mind a swirl of cinnamon raisin in my bagel at all.
Yes. So, Marco, I just did a little check, and I don't know if there's actually the Detroit bagel, but there is the Detroit Institute of Bagels, which is
Okay.
a restaurant cafe type place. Now, bagels are one bread item. However, if you were to ask me to choose
Yes.
a bread type item,
Let
I
me
guess,
ask you.
snack item.
I'm going to ask you to choose
Yeah.
a bread type snack item that is your favorite.
It's a difficult choice. So I am a fan of artists.
I feel that this is a difficult choice, but I think you have to remove bagels
From it.
it because
Yes.
bagels are their own thing.
I would also say the same about croissants, because I feel
Okay.
like croissants are also in their own
Category.
You've got
Perfect.
the almond croissant,
Sure.
the chocolate croissant,
And I'm
regular
going to say
croissant.
cakes are out of this category as well. So, for example, a panettone, which I love, which is a bread-like Italian Christmas cake.
Yes.
Or the
Remove
pandoro.
that.
We're going to remove that. Okay, so now that we know what the playing field is,
Yes.
Nidhi, what is your favorite bread type item?
Okay. So there is a bakery in Montreal called Premier Moisson. They don't.
What does that mean? Because you said
First.
it very quickly, and for people who are listening who may not speak French, I'd like to just
I
like
don't
myself.
know if Moisson means anything or if it's the name of someone, but Premier is like
It's
first.
Okay.
I'll find out.
Okay.
But they do like a hazelnut bread that
Ooh.
I just adore.
Mhm.
Any bread that has sort of specialty nuts in it or
Okay.
something like that I can then put a little bit of butter on, toast it up, put a little bit of butter on. That is that's perfect
Butter
for me.
or ghee?
Butter,
Okay.
never ghee.
Okay.
Not for this type
I
of
see.
bread.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be up there.
Mhm.
There's a beautiful bread that I had recently that's actually got cranberries and white chocolate in it.
Oh my goodness.
Which was a nice little treat.
Of course.
But it was a bread. It wasn't
Sure.
a cake.
Right.
It was a bread. Those would be, I think, my top. How about for
I
you,
would
Marco?
love, I would love, one of my favorite breads is the challah bread.
Oh, yes.
Because it's
Yes.
eggy and it's sweet, and I even love the way it looks, because it's sort of, I think when they make challah bread, they braid it, because it's got different
Yep.
sort of bumps and lumps in it, and you could leave me on a desert island with challah bread and Nutella, and I would be pretty happy
good.
for a while. Certainly, those are things that make me happy in the bread department. Now, do you like your bread fluffy, or do you like it more dense?
I like fluffy bread.
Okay.
I prefer fluffy bread. So that's why I kind of like naan
Sure.
bread.
Oh, naan bread is wonderful. For those of you who aren't familiar with naan bread, it's a Indian or Southeast Asian bread that you'll often get as a side, that is flat, almost like a pita bread, but I feel like it is stone baked, if I'm not mistaken, and so it has a bit of charring. Sometimes you'll have it, and it's very chewy and delicious and fantastic to rip and put into different sauces and accompaniments with the dishes you may be eating. In this case, various curries.
Here at Blue Apron, we've been thinking a lot about the whole cooking thing. And we've decided you shouldn't have to cook. Introducing Dish by Blue Apron, pre-made meals that are ready in 5 minutes or less. At least 20 grams of protein, a good source of fiber, and no artificial flavors or colors. Shop Dish by Blue Apron at blueapron.com. Get 50% off your first 2 orders with code APRON50. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
Big news! Wayfair's tax refund sale is on now. Right now through March 2nd, you can score up to 70% off furniture, decor, appliances, rugs, and more. With fast and easy shipping straight to your door. Plus, amazing flash deals. Shop Wayfair's tax refund sale now to make the most of your refund with huge savings through March 2nd at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
When you walk into a Burlington, you're walking into amazing prices and great styles. That's main character energy. Because at Burlington, the wow deals aren't the only thing turning heads. Find fashion, the best brands, new trends, and so much more for every room in your house. Go ahead, you deserve these deals. But seriously, with these savings, why shop anywhere else?
Burlington deals, brands, wow.
Once again, Marco, I really do believe the blue topaz is working today, because that was a wonderful description of naan bread and the various ways that you can eat it.
I love naan.
You do.
So I don't know if it's the blue topaz or just my love for Indian cuisine, and I guess Jewish cuisine too, because I love both the bagel, challah bread, artichokes that are done in the style of Trastevere, which is a area of Rome where the Jewish ghettos were located. So they'll deep fry artichokes, and it's out of this world.
Now, you mentioned panettone before. I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of panettone.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because I haven't tasted the right one, but it's not my favorite. However, sorry, go ahead.
No, please finish your statement.
I was going to ask you of the Italian bread family,
Right.
because there is so much of it, bread-based or wheat-based products. What your favorite would be? However, I'd like to first hear about your panettone comment.
I'm going to give you the lowdown on panettone. Panettone is the traditional panettone.
Tell me.
Is a sweet bread that is available around Christmas time, and it generally has, or the traditional style of panettone has, raisins and candied fruit. And so I feel like the North American palate isn't one that enjoys candied fruit. And I'm a traditionalist, so I love the traditional panettone. Now, is that the one that you've had?
I've had panettone with, you know, those little gummy type fruit that you would find
Those
in
are
a
the
fruit cake?
those are the candy fruit.
Right. With that, and it's not my favorite thing.
Okay. Now they've got a bunch of new panettone that has chocolate chips or lemon cream in it. They've got various different things that you can get in your panettone. Now, I will say this, if you're not a fan of panettone, which a lot of people aren't, my recommendation is to take the panettone, or if you have panettone that's gone a little bit stale, because panettone is the type of dessert bread that once you cut it, you sort of need to eat it within a day or two because it'll go stale very quickly. Use the panettone to make French toast. If you use the panettone to make French toast, I guarantee, Nidhi, you will change your mind with regards to panettone. Panettone is also a perfect sweetbread to accompany a coffee, in particular a cafe latte, because it is the perfect thing. Once again, should your panettone go stale, don't panic. Dip it into the latte macchiato in this case. So, you know, a latte macchiato, which is espresso and warmed milk. It will sop up a third of your latte right away. So be quick about it, and it'll be the most delicious wet sweet bread you will have.
Marco, I think you are making me turn the tide on my panettone experience. And so I'm going to have to try both those things,
There you
French
go.
toast and using it as an accompaniment to my latte.
There you go. Now, you are going to let us know about that bakery, I believe it was in
Yes,
Montreal?
so it doesn't tell me what it means, so I need to do a bit more digging.
Okay, fair enough.
Perhaps I need to talk to some of my friends whose French is much better than mine.
Well, I think your
However-
French is great.
Well,
We were in Montreal a few years back.
Yes.
And you were navigating the streets quite well. And I remember we asked for directions, or someone stopped us, and you spoke to the gentleman entirely in French, and I was very impressed.
well, it helps growing up there. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not where it used to be, given that I now live here in Toronto,
Sure.
which for our friends who might not be Canadian,
Right.
might not realize that in Montreal and the province of Quebec, it's a predominantly French-speaking province in Canada.
Sure.
However, here in Toronto, in the province of Ontario, and most of the rest of Canada.
With the exception of New Brunswick.
Correct.
And because Amanda's not here, I have to mention that.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's from there.
She
so-
is from there. Most of it is English speaking.
Right.
And so, although French and English are both official languages in Canada, you find it more predominantly French speaking in Quebec.
We are going to go to a town. I know we're mentioning a lot of cities in this particular podcast, but we are going to go to a town called La Fontaine in
Okay.
Ontario, and we're going to record a show, and it'll be in a couple of months because I'm going to take you there.
Okay.
La Fontaine, and that is a very French town in Ontario, about an hour and 30 minutes away from Toronto. It's near my cottage. That's why I say I'm going to take you there, and
okay.
we're going to record a show there.
I would love
and,
that.
we're going to see how great your French actually is in that town.
Well, okay, so explain a bit. Can you tell me a bit about La Fontaine?
We will when we get closer to that
Okay.
episode. All I know
Fair
about
enough.
La Fontaine is that it's on Georgian Bay.
Okay.
So it's right by this beautiful bay, this beautiful beach area of Ontario, and that they have the Festival de Loup. So it's a festival with
the
regards,
wolf.
yeah, the wolf, and we'll get more into that. later on. So that's just a little tidbit because I don't want to overwhelm today's podcast with too many places.
Fair enough, and I think that there's obviously a lot that we can discuss once we get to La Fontaine.
Sure. And Ann Arbor, Montreal, Detroit. We have all these places we need to visit.
I think we need to do a tour, Marco.
I would say so.
We even need to go up to Red Deer to see our friends there.
Yeah, it's true. Well, we want to thank our listeners, and if you wish to connect with us, you can tweet us at Listen and Sleep, and of course you can subscribe to us on iTunes and follow us on SoundCloud. Include us in your favorite podcasts on your, whether it be a smartphone or iPad or tablet of some sort. And Nidhi, before this evening's over, what bread product will you be digesting?
Oh, that's a good one, Marco. Well, now I'm kind of in the mood for Indian food, so I think we might have to go get a roti or a naan or something.
Hey, that works perfectly for me.
As always, we are recording from Toronto, and we'd like to thank you for being a part of our podcast and listening. As always, we're produced by Drumcast Productions.
Both of us have insomnia, and that's how this podcast has come about. And we'll tell you more about why and how we decided to make such a podcast. And we hope that this helps you solve your insomnia issues. And if it doesn't, we hope it at least relaxes you as you try to get out of that state and into a state of restfulness.
Until the next time, we hope you listen and sleep.